Uh, what? I'm realizing how bad this film is now, and I'm trying to figure out what made me keep watching the series.
Well, do you want to work through it together and figure it out?
Well, fine, I guess.
Fleming's 13th and final Bond novel, released in 1965, finds Bond on the trail of Francisco Scaramanga, an assassin for hire, as a way to redeem Bond in the eyes of M. Long story short, following the events of You and Live Twice, Bond returns from the cold in Russia, brainwashed to assassinate M. I really don't know why MI6 decided to let a brainwashed Bond in to see M, let alone why M decided to reinstate Bond after a month of therapy and electroshock treatment. It's beyond me.
The ninth film in the series, released in 1974, directed by Guy Hamilton, and again starring Roger Moore as the eponymous 007, finds Bond also on the trail of Scaramanga. However, Bond this time was removed from tracking a solar energy scientist to find Scaramanga because a golden bullet with his 001 number was sent to MI6.
The novel focuses more on Bond working undercover for Scaramanga in Jamaica and working to foil Scaramanga's plot to control, among other commodities, the sugar trade. Here, Scaramanga is a lone wolf, yet he has a small international cadre comprised of some U.S. gang leaders and a KGB agent.
The film, however, focuses on Bond tracking Scaramanga through parts of Macau, Hong Kong, Bangkok, and Red China in an effort to foil his plans to have a monopoly over the solar energy industry. Here, Scaramanga is not really a lone wolf, as he is assisted by his dwarf henchman, named Knick-Knack, played by Hervé Villachet, and his mistress, Andrea Anders, played by Maura Adams.
Scaramanga, played by Christopher Lee, who's actually a cousin of Fleming's, is like Bond, but he's not in the way that he's the doppelganger, if you will. While Bond kills based on assignment, Scaramanga, he kills based on contract, is more cutthroat, and is driven by the death of a circus elephant, which he is rather close with. Now, Scaramanga is superior to Bond, as he's about 2 inches taller and has a slightly larger weapon, nudge nudge wink wink. There are also serious accusations, if you will, to the fact that Scaramanga could be hiding homosexual tendencies, judging from his intense love of guns, especially his golden gun, which he has almost a fetish for, as he strokes his mistress, Andrea Anders, with it after killing a solar energy scientist.
But those accusations are just psychoanalysis, which is kind of a crock, thanks or no thanks to Freud, whatever you choose. Then again, there's also the belief that his third nipple is a sign of invulnerability and sexual prowess. But, you know, Scaramanga does like to have hetero intercourse before he kills, as a way to calm his nerves or what have you. And then again, he's disrespectful of women, judging by his slanderous language towards them in the novel.
Looking at the women of this film, I just hang my head in shame. Andrea sends the golden bullet and fingerprinted letter to MI6 to get Bond's attention because she wants out of her relationship with Scaramanga, and she wants to be rescued because Bond is apparently the only person who can kill Scaramanga. So, they sleep together in exchange for the Solex agitator, and Scaramanga kills her. Worst trade ever.
And Mary Goodnight, played by Britt Eklund, is an inconsistent ditz, and she's even ditzier than her ex-husband Peter Sellers. She vacillates from falling over Bond, to feeling gypped about not getting any action, to trying to help, but failing. Her attempt to place a tracker in Scaramanga's car results in her kidnapping. She even says, "I'm weak," after sneaking into Bond's hotel room to get some action after blowing him off over drinks. She's his damn secretary in the novel, and their mutual interest is foregone in favor of the mission. Hell, you don't hit on or sleep with your secretary, unless you're into that sort of thing.
If you're looking for gadgets, you'll find none. I don't know why, but there are no gadgets in the film, or the novel for that matter. And up to this point in my readings, the novels really haven't been too heavy on the gadgets, perhaps because the films tend to glamorize it. Anyways, Q is still present to provide the fake nipple and the scientific knowledge that is relevant to the case.
As previously mentioned, the film is more exotic than the novel. Bond isn't in familiar territory like Jamaica, but instead in parts of China and Thailand. However, he still seems to exude an air of knowing what he's doing. There also is the element of kung fu in the film that does add a touch of exoticism. However, the novel does have a few little bits of exoticism in there, thanks to an oriental dancer, and the racial undertone thanks to the setting.
However, you do have nations working together towards a common goal. In the novel, you have Scaramanga and a group of international cronies, and in the film, you have Bond working side by side with Lieutenant Hip.
Comparing the two, the film values spectacle over substance, as evidenced by the fight scenes, chase scenes, and the closing duel. While the Oriental setting does add a kung fu element, it really isn't needed, unless of course you want to see Bond, Lieutenant Hip, and Hip's two Skullgirl nieces wailing on and taking down an entire martial arts dojo. Yeah. Also, the boat chase scene and the car chase scene really aren't needed because they don't add much, if anything, to the plot, and only serve to show in the returning character of J.W. Pepper, the racist and offensive sheriff from You Only Live Twice. And lastly, the closing duel is oddly reminiscent of the ending of Orson Welles' The Lady from Shanghai. The film also presents the theme of duality, like doppelgangers, good versus evil, Bond versus Scaramanga, and so on. This is evident in the film through the similarities of Bond and Scaramanga, the number of mirrors you see throughout the film, and also the mannequin of Bond in Scaramanga's funhouse. Moore's Bond develops into more of a threatening presence in this film. He slaps Andrea and pins her arm to extract information about Scaramanga, and he also threatens to shoot a weapons maker in the groin unless he reveals how Scaramanga gets his bullets. As for the gold gun and bullets, well, they're just plated, they're not pure gold. He's not Goldfinger. So, despite this being my first exposure to the Bond franchise so many years ago, I can see why this wasn't the best received of all films, which is why I'm leaning towards the novel on this one. While yes, the film does have Christopher Lee and an impressive car stunt, it doesn't make up for the flat female characters, unneeded racism, and the vast difference from the source material. Next week we find Bond after an underwater megalomaniac and Ringo Starr's second wife. Well, see you then.